Today is gonna be spicy. Hello everyone! Today I am back with another installment of my series, Jazi's Tea. I hope you liked the new little animated intro. I really want to do more of these because I've just been thinking about it a lot recently, and I really want to start using my voice more on my platform, because I think that it's important as like an artist to also like talk about things that are related to my art that I think could really help people, because I don't know, not enough people speak their mind, I guess. I have had notes written up for this video since like, I don't know, a couple weeks, I think, after I filmed the last Jazi's Tea installment, which was a while ago. It was last year. So I finally kind of sat down and cleaned them up and edited them so that I can finally talk about this topic, because it's one of my favorite things. Today we are talking all about gravure and boudoir content and my thoughts and opinions on it. Quick warning that this video does deal with some mature themes, obviously, so if that's not something you're into, then maybe this is not the video you want to watch right now. This might be a long one, and I might even make a second video on this topic someday, because I'm so passionate about it, and I'm sure that even with my notes, I'm going to forget to include something. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments, but please keep them appropriate for the platform. Remember, we are on YouTube. So today I am drinking a Starbucks Very Berry Hibiscus refresher, one of the ones from like the little powder packets that are Starbucks brand, you know. Not quite as good as they taste like in store, but it works and it's way cheaper. I was kind of too lazy to make my own iced tea, and I really kind of can't do hot tea right now because for some reason my body has just felt like it's overheating. I kind of have like a sunburn situation going on, and it's kind of concerning that I just feel like I'm hot all the time, because it's only like patches. It's not like my whole body. Like, you can't really even see like where I'm sunburned because it's all under here. So yeah, I'm concerned, but you know, gotta get my liquids, and I had to have some sort of drink or it would kind of just lose the whole literal tea concept. But it's a Starbucks thing, so close enough, I guess. Alright, let's begin. So it's no secret that gravure, lewds, boudoir, and any sort of somewhat erotic content in general is controversial in most communities. This includes the cosplay community, the idol community, and just the greater art community. There is so much slut-shaming and body-shaming that goes on everywhere online, and in the cosplay community specifically, there are a lot of people who are getting canceled for starting to create lewd content or for lewding certain characters or certain kinds of outfits, so just really like, you can never win, I guess. So I just want to touch on some of the issues that people have and why I personally don't feel like this type of content is as problematic as people perceive it to be. But first, I want to get a big disclaimer out of the way. This video is intended for people ages 18 and over. It is not okay to create any sort of spicy content if you are under the age of 18, including cosplay. It doesn't matter if that character is a minor and is lewded in the source media. You are a child, and you do not need to be participating in that. It's actually illegal, at least in the US, and I'm pretty sure most other places do not lie about your age online either. Not only can it get you in trouble, but it can get the people who interact with you in a lot of trouble. And if you talk to people who are adults now who did lie about their age online, they will almost always tell you that it was a terrible thing that they did and don't do it because it caused them a lot of trouble. They could have avoided if they didn't do that. I don't have personal experience with that. That's like things I've heard, but still. Also, whether you are a minor or an adult, please be careful with photographers, especially if you are a minor. A lot of photographers have boundaries in place for a reason. Some will not shoot with minors at all, and some will shoot with minors, but a parent has to be present. And there are some photographers who will not do swimsuit shoots with minors, which is their choice, that's their boundaries. If they're not comfortable doing it, then don't push the issue. I'm saying all this because I know some kid somewhere is going to find this video, and I just want to tell you, please wait until you are 18. It will be so worth the wait, and it will be so rewarding to do this legally if you choose to. Just do not do it before you are 18. It's not going to be a good time. None of us want any of you young ones to come into harm's way, and just please, it will be so worth it, I promise. So now that we've got all that out of the way, on to the next rant. Adults 100% have the right to choose what they want to do with their own body and show it off however they want. I hate the idea of slut-shaming in any context. Because slut-shaming is mostly directed towards women specifically, it is so toxic and so sexist. I could go on a whole thing about ways that society oppresses women, and slut-shaming is just one of them. This is especially true in content creation. Like I said, adults can do whatever they want. It's just flat out not okay to shame someone for the type of content they create. If you don't like it, you don't have to look at it. On the magical world of the internet, it is very easy to steer away from things that you do not like, or, you know, there's this helpful feature called the block feature. You don't have to post about it, you don't have to shame people or complain or whatever else. You can just move on. And you definitely don't have to report it either. Don't be a tattletale. Just block and move on. So let's talk about the reasons that people have such a problem with this type of content and address them, because that's what we're here to do. First one, it's softcore porn. While there is nothing wrong with creators who want to create softcore porn, there is like a spectrum of spicy, like a scale. It's not all the same, and it would range from like suggestive like swimsuit photos or even like just fully clothed sort of sexy things, all the way up to like actual pornographic content, you know? Most creators set their own boundaries of what they will and won't do. For example, I don't shoot nudes. I don't even really shoot topless, and the only instance where I think I would ever want to shoot in that position would be if it was like a more artistic shoot rather than a more sexy type of shoot. But I'm never gonna shame anyone for having different boundaries from me. That's just my personal thing because my content focuses on a different type of spicy. As long as this content is being showed in the proper venues for each kind of thing, it's no one else's business what you're doing with your life. Say it with me. No matter what your personal opinion is about what a public figure of a certain type should be doing, it is not your business to tell them what they should and shouldn't do. I see this all the time with idols, and it absolutely infuriates me. And since the majority of idols, especially doing this, are female, you know, telling women what to do with their bodies, that doesn't really sit well with me. There are kids on this app. Okay, and there are ways to keep children from seeing your content. You just have to be diligent about it. Private accounts, the block feature, avoiding tags on lewd photos that appeal directly to children. And I know we don't live in a perfect world, but kids shouldn't be on social media unsupervised anyway. You're supposed to be 13 to even have an account. All right. Moving on to the next topic. Let's talk about the gravure versus lewds debate. It's not really a big debate, but I see so many silly comments about it. It needed to be addressed. So the argument that I see is that gravure is not supposed to be sexual. And this is kinda sorta a lie. Gravure is focused on a different kind of sexy that, in the Western view, does seem a little bit more cute and less sexy. But idol gravure in Japan is very much focused on the sort of girlfriend fantasy. And while the idol industry is changing over time and becoming more diverse with more concepts and more themes, there are still groups out there that mainly profit off of this girlfriend fantasy. From what I have observed, a lot of idol fans in Japan are very respectful, even when they have this sort of fantasy about their faves. The sort of like fantasy relationship between a male fan and a female idol is a lot different from the dynamic that we sometimes see in like thirst culture and all that stuff. If you were to ask like a Japanese guy who has a huge dedication to one idol, buys all her merchandise, really wants to support her, and maybe even says something like, "Oh, I wish she was my girlfriend," it's kind of more like, oh, I want her to be my wife so that I can really treat her right and with respect, or I want to go out on a date with her and take her to dinner and such. It's definitely a lot sweeter than saying something like, I want to see her naked, which is a comment that I have seen many a variation on many Western celebrity posts. And it's really sad actually, because really the inappropriate conduct that we see from some male fans in the West is really the reason that male idol fans are so stigmatized. There's so many good ones out there, both in the East and West, and I would say the vast majority in the East are very, very respectful. And I really hate how everyone just assumes that all Japanese idol fans are perverts because of a few bad examples. I don't really want to generalize, but generally that is the case. Gravure appeals to the girlfriend fantasy a little bit more than the hookup fantasy, which is what I typically think that a lot of sexy as portrayed in the West kind of caters to. But really, it's all some sort of sexual at its core, and it's all adult media. One of my biggest pet peeves is how some people in the West will just force everything about idol culture through a Western lens and assume that Japanese culture and American culture, for example, are all the same, and they will judge the things that idols do in relation to their culture instead of, you know, actually thinking about how this is a completely different culture. Like, Japan is not all like, kawaii, everything is cute, we're just vibing all the time. That kind of thinking is really just very toxic, and when people tell me things like that or refer to Japan as like anime land, I kind of just want to tell them, like, please go do some research and learn some things, please. Like, just because something isn't sexy to you as a person raised in a Western culture doesn't mean that it might not be sexy to someone else. It's kind of funny how it also happens to perpetuate that Japanese women are just cute and fragile and not actual adults. So fucking problematic. Alright, so here's where the video is going to get a little bit more positive now that I've got my big rant out of the way. I'd really like to talk about why adult modeling can really be such a great experience. It can really boost your confidence. Just taking photos of yourself to help you feel more comfortable in your skin alone can be so rewarding. And I definitely think that it's something everybody of every gender should try. It's a beautiful, timeless form of art. The human body is a beautiful thing, and throughout history, art has often showcased the beauty of the human form. It's very unfortunate that modern society seems to view any sort of sexual liberation as bad. This is partially a result of a heavy religious influence on society. It has lasted for years and years, and still continues today, even in the year of our Lord 2020. It's really empowering, both from taking the actual photos and the more business side of selling them. You definitely don't have to use your lewd content for profit by any means, but sometimes it can feel really great. It's really empowering to run a business that, in a lot of ways, is all about you. And from a marketing and branding standpoint, it really can allow you to grow your audience in a market that is more well-known, and you can potentially be very successful without ever having to let go of your niche. So I always tell people, if you're thinking about it, you should do it. I know personally, my content has definitely grown since I started doing it because people kind of come for the spice and stay for the other stuff, but definitely, if you're not comfortable with it, never compromise your values just because you think you might be more successful. It's just that if you are thinking about it. So to close this out, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about my personal experience. For me, starting Gravure was probably the best decision I made during my entire idol journey. It was rough at first, and I definitely received a lot of criticism and even outright hate for it, but now it's one of the things I'm most known for. Even though I'm kind of going a different direction with some of my content and I'm not using the idol label anymore, Gravure and boudoir content is still something I'm continuing to do, and I love doing it. It really makes me so happy to see DMs and comments from people saying that I inspired them to start dabbling in adult modeling too. I just love seeing how I've helped make a difference in someone's life, helped them build up the confidence to start doing something that they wanted to do but didn't think that they could. It's just really rewarding just to hear those stories. I mean, isn't that what every artist wants, to make an impact on someone? Another thing I want to touch on, it's no secret that I don't have the typical skinny figure that is sought after by society. In fact, I'm a size 10, I am quite average, but you do not have to have any specific body type to show it off. If you have the interest in this type of modeling but don't feel beautiful enough to do it, just start experimenting. Find the things that fit you and your style. Your content doesn't have to look like anyone else's, so don't compare yourself to other people too much. Something that I personally struggled with for a while was that I am too big for most of the lewd trendy things that come along. Such as the cat lingerie thing that I think is still a trendy thing now, actually, because that's usually sold in either just one small size only, or the large is the equivalent of an American small, so there's just no way. And there were times that I thought oh, it's cheap, I'll just buy it anyway and squeeze into it, but honestly, instead of trying to squeeze into something that I wasn't going to feel confident in anyway because it wasn't going to fit and look good on me, I found things that I did feel good in, and I'm always on the search for more pieces and stuff. I may have a lingerie addiction at this point. If you struggle with this as well, hit me up. I'm starting a support group. My point is, if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. Just take the chance. Don't let society's beauty standards keep you from doing what you love. If you're being told that you're too big or too short or too flat, forget all that, because we really need more body types to be seen in all forms of media. You can make a difference. That was a longer tangent than I meant it to be. I'm sorry. Bottom line, literally do whatever you want. Whether you are a cosplayer, idol, artist, or anyone with any sort of passion for creativity, you create what you want to create. It doesn't make you any less of a person to be confident in your own skin. Don't let anyone shame you for what you choose to do with your body. If you'd like to see more Jazi's Tea videos, please leave a like, and if you haven't yet, maybe subscribe. Like I said at the beginning, please leave any questions you have in the comments. I will be responding to all the questions that I can answer. It really shouldn't be a problem if we all stay on topic and are respectful, though. Anyway, that is all from me today, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope to talk with you again soon. Bye!